Hello everyone, welcome to Inconvenient Truths. I'm your host, Jennifer Zheng. A shocking statement from China's top diplomat has revealed Beijing's secret fears and plans. The CCP's foreign minister Wang Yi recently admitted that China cannot afford a Russian defeat in the Ukraine war, breaking years of claimed neutrality. But was this a slip of the tongue or something more serious? Today, we reveal an exclusive and shocking story. Why Wang Yi said this, how a Chinese defector gave two secret CCP plans to Putin, and what it means for the future of global conflict. Everyone knows that on July 2nd, the CCP's foreign minister Wang Yi, while meeting with the EU's foreign policy chief, said that China cannot afford a Russian defeat in Ukraine because it worries that the US would then shift all its attention to Beijing. After this statement came out, the international community was in an uproar. That's because this statement not only ripped off the fig leaf of the CCP's long-time claim of not picking sides in the Russian-Ukraine war, but also exposed the CCP's bottom line in its big strategy of trying to drag out the Russia-Ukraine war to keep America's national energy and strategic focus stuck in Europe. So lots of China experts and scholars around the world started buzzing about it, guessing what Wang Yi meant by this. In the end, many people said that it was just Wang Yi misspeaking. Actually, people who know how things work inside China understand that Chinese officials can slack off on their job, lie flat, play both sides, or show two faces. But they absolutely don't dare to misspeak in diplomatic settings. Even Xi Jinping himself, when meeting foreign leaders or even his own subordinates, needs to hold a little notebook and keep flipping through it. He never dares to go off script and talk freely. As someone who has been the foreign minister for many years, Wang Yi is absolutely not going to misspeak by accident. So why did Wang Yi say that? Turns out it involves a huge secret. According to former Peking University professor Yuan Hongbin, Wang Yi's so-called misspeak was meant to calm down Putin, who got furious over a sudden, unexpected event. Yuan Hongbin quoted sources from inside the CCP saying that at the end of May this year, an official from a confidential department in the CCP's foreign ministry, after being oppressed by his own boss, got angry and sought political asylum from Russia. He handed over a top-secret CCP document to Russia as his proof of loyalty. The content of this top-secret document is about the CCP's response plan if Russia loses in the Russia-Ukraine war and Putin's regime faces a total collapse. Sorry, because my channel needs to survive, I'm going to insert an ad here first. It is the only product I'm promoting right now, WiseQuest eye patches. It uses all natural plant extracts to give our eyes effective nutrition and protection. It's a must-have for anyone who spends more than 6 hours a day on screen.
Feel like your eyes are tearing up out of nowhere? You're not actually crying, your eyes are trying to rescue themselves. When the tear film breaks down, the eye releases emergency tears. But those don't help vision or comfort. They just make it worse. I use a WiseQuest patch nightly to prevent that cycle. Real hydration, real relief.
Well, thanks for watching. I try not to waste everyone's time too much. I'll put a purchase link in the comments or description. Thanks for supporting me in telling inconvenient truths. Okay, now back to our topic today. The CCP's response plans for the overthrow of Putin's regime are based on the basic judgment that if Putin's regime gets overthrown, the US and Europe will do everything they can to prop up a pro-Western political force in Moscow and control Russia's national power. And the CCP made two different response contingency plans for this. The first plan is, if possible, to support the Communist Party of the Russian Federation or a multi-party alliance centered on the Communist Party of the Russian Federation to lead Russia's national political direction and rebuild the base of the international communist movement in Europe. The second plan's main content is, if due to strong intervention from the US and Europe, the first plan can't be achieved and it's hard to stop Western-backed political forces from setting up a government in Moscow, then the CCP will strongly support political forces led by the Communist Party of the Russian Federation to establish an Eastern Russian Federation with the Ural Mountains as border. At the same time, the CCP will decisively send troops to guard the vast area of Siberia east of the Ural Mountains all the way to the Pacific, so that when a Taiwan Strait war breaks out, it can provide the CCP with enough strategic depth and a backup base for energy. According to Yuan Hongbin, in mid-June, the Russian Foreign Ministry handed back that defecting Chinese diplomat along with his superior's wife, who ran away with him, to the CCP. They also gave the CCP a diplomatic note. This note had only one chilling sentence. Russia is an unbreakable strong existence and will continue to remain a strong existence. This strong existence is guarded by nuclear forces that can destroy any potential enemy. Yuan Hongbin said this diplomatic defection incident was classified as top secret by the CCP. But right now, China is full of officials who are restless and boiling with resentment. Every official has thoughts against Xi Jinping. So the CCP's secret curtain is leaking like crazy in many ways, and that's how this news got out. This Chinese diplomat's defection, especially the document handed to Russia during the defection about the CCP's response plans for a total collapse of the Russian regime, is like telling Putin that if things go bad, the CCP will stab Russia in the back with a fatal knife without hesitation. And what Xi Jinping fears most is definitely that Putin might get so angry he abandons the alliance with the CCP and turns to ally with the US and Trump instead. It's based on this extreme fear that Wang Yi, on orders from the CCP, publicly pulled down the CCP's diplomatic pants in an international setting. By saying that, Wang Yi is clearly telling the whole world that the CCP will support Russia to keep fighting and wear down America's national energy in the Russia-Ukraine war for a long time, creating conditions for the CCP to win if it launches a war against Taiwan. Wang Yi's confession looks like it's said to the EU on the surface, but it's really a tearful appeal of true feelings to Putin. Otherwise, why would Wang Yi totally ignore the image of the CCP as a peace angel that had been running around calling for Russia's ceasefire and expose the CCP's true face of saying all the good things but doing all the bad things in front of the international community? I think this really explains well why Wang Yi suddenly said those words that shocked the international community so much. Yuan Hongbin also said that this diplomatic defection event caused a huge panic at the CCP's strategic decision-making level. Right now, the CCP is trying to sign a secret strategic agreement with Russia when Putin attends the big parade in Beijing on September 3rd this year. The main content of the agreement is that the CCP supports Russia's strategic ambitions in Europe, meaning providing full and effective all-around support to help Russia restore the European territories from the former Soviet era, including all of Ukraine and the 3 Baltic states. In return, Russia needs to make specific and reliable plans to provide the CCP with strategic depths and energy supplies when a Taiwan Strait war breaks out, and help the CCP set up strategic nuclear submarine underwater launch positions in the Arctic to threaten the CCP. At the same time, Russia also has to promise to put military pressure on Japan to weaken Japan's will and ability to intervene in a Taiwan Strait war. Yuan Hongbin also said that what the international community needs to pay attention to is not the CCP's shameless lack of credibility in international political games, but the major strategic ambition of the CCP that was exposed in all this. Whether it's from the document that the defecting Chinese diplomat handed to Russia as proof of loyalty, or Wang Yi's shout out across the air to get Putin's forgiveness, there is a constant message hidden in both. All of the CCP's strategic and tactical thinking revolves around the scenario of launching a war against Taiwan, whether it's supporting Russia's continued invasion war in Ukraine to keep attracting America's national energy and attention to Europe, or in the process of a total change in Russia's regime, supporting the Communist Party of the Russian Federation to establish a puppet regime controlled by the CCP. All of these have a direct strategic thought, and they all come down to the CCP's strategic scenario for launching a war against Taiwan. Yuan Hongbin said that conquering Taiwan has become the CCP's direct and realistic strategic direction. The CCP is busily sharpening its knives and making final preparations to launch an invasion war against free Taiwan. The war, or rather the century's big showdown between the CCP and the international forces of freedom and democracy, is like dark clouds pressing on the city. It's a cold and harsh reality that the international community has to face head on. Free Taiwan, this lighthouse of democracy in Asia, is facing a challenge that concerns the future and destiny of humanity. And the final outcome of how things develop only has two choices. Either Free Taiwan gets conquered by the CCP and the Asian democracy lighthouse goes dark, or with strong support from the international camp of freedom and democracy, Free Taiwan totally defeats the invasion of the CCP and the CCP regime collapses in a wave of nationwide resistance and people's uprisings due to the failure of the aggression war. So, behind Wang Yi's so-called misspeak storm, it's actually these two future choices for humanity's destiny in the 21st century. Well, that's all for today. Once again, please consider supporting me by purchasing the wonderful product I recommended earlier, or by visiting my website at jenniferzengblog.com to sign up for a membership or make a donation. Your support makes it possible for me to continue telling the inconvenient truths. Thank you, and see you next time.